Something that I remembered when I was reading this piece on the staffing exodus at Tesla is a letter that some board members wrote shareholders when trying to convince them to approve Elon's pay package. And they essentially said Elon Musk is the only guy for the job. He is the only person that is capable of leading Tesla right now. It's very clear that Tesla's board, the shareholders, based on approving that $1 trillion historic pay package, they think Elon Musk is completely irreplaceable. But when you see all of these other, not obviously as high as Elon Musk, but high-level employees leaving, are they irreplaceable as too? Can someone replace them? What does that really look like?
Well, I think part of the issue, and this is something we've talked about, is core to the board saying Elon is so essential and vital to our future, is he's laying out an entirely new business strategy for the company. Tesla made its bones on batteries and EVs and charging services, and that's its revenue source. But he wants to move beyond that. He doesn't want people to think of Tesla as a car maker. He wants people to think of it as an AI and tech company. And so as he laid out last week, he keeps talking about this future, an AI-powered future of humanoid robots and robotaxis. That's different, and that's a different skill set than being an auto engineer that's doing, an electric car like the Model Y, for example. You need a different type of engineer to work on Optimus robots than you do on a car. And so it may be that it may be somewhat frustrating for some of the very talented people that are working at the company who've been working on the EV business, that their efforts are not being prioritized in a way that they once were. So I think that might be more of the issue. And undoubtedly, are the two engineers who left replaceable? Sure. Undoubtedly, because there have already been some big departures in those areas previously, even higher level engineers who've been with the company for a long time, Drew Baglino and people like that who left a year ago. So what you are seeing, though, is this kind of whittling down of the talent pool. For years, I would talk to different analysts who looked at the fact that Tesla and SpaceX had their pick of the cream of the crop of kids coming out of engineering schools. Everybody who wanted to do something exciting in engineering wanted to work for Tesla or SpaceX. EVs and batteries and rockets were pretty exciting. That's not really the case anymore. Tesla doesn't have quite that same appeal, the recruiting edge that it once did. And you had people joining Tesla for years who were coming from traditional auto companies who wanted to do something very different. I would argue that period is probably over. Undoubtedly, Tesla can still recruit from General Motors or Ford or Honda, but that's not really going to be the bulk anymore of who's coming in. And I think in this pivot, the focus is a bit away from the auto talent and more to roboticists and AI scientists and things like that.
And to your point, these auto engineers oversaw the money-making aspect of Tesla, at least a lot of it, as you said, 90% of the sales volume. And if Elon Musk is not even prioritizing these core businesses that you and I talk about, the ones that make the money, I mean, does this exodus impact the bottom line? What do you think?
I think it can, and I think we'll see something along those lines, because as we've talked about before, as you mentioned, third quarter sales really spiked dramatically as people rushed to get federal tax credits in the United States. But the fourth quarter is going to be down, and Tesla's going to have a significant year-over-year decline in its EV sales this year, which will feed through into lower revenue and lower profit. And the first quarter of 2026, the story doesn't change. The company is trying to manage with declines in major markets. Tesla's down in China. It's down significantly in China, and that's the most problematic because that's its most profitable market. It's down in China mainly because it's not adding enough fresh new stuff. Chinese EV makers, there's just a broad array of exciting new products that are flooding the market, that are attractively priced with all kinds of great new features. Tesla's not keeping up competitively in China. So Tesla's issues in China have already exposed this basic problem, that it's not investing enough and is not aggressive enough in its car sales. So that's not a good sign for the future. In Europe, the issue is a little different. People just don't like Elon because of his outspoken support of right-wing politicians, and he's much more controversial in Europe. And people have stopped buying the brand. So Europe is in decline. And in the United States, it's a mix of both. I think you have buyers in the United States that are put off by Elon personally, but also there's just a lot of interesting new product, EV product, coming into the U.S. market. And even with lower volume as a result of the elimination of federal tax credits, you're still going to have interesting new products. I mean, the Chevy Equinox EV that came out at the end of last year and GM's been selling this year is a great competitor to Model Y, and it's more affordable and maybe more attractive to some eyes. Hyundai has a very broad line of interesting EVs. General Motors is also coming back with its Chevy Bolt as a more affordable entry-level EV. There are additional products that keep hitting the market. Rivian early next year is coming out with its R2, which will be a $45,000 competitor to Model Y. So there's a lot of new competition in the U.S. market as well. Is Tesla going to be able to answer that? Right now, its only answer to that is we're going to sell you a cheaper version of Model Y with fewer features and not as nice materials, I guess. So I'm not sure that's a compelling way to go. So they are going to continue to see, they're going to struggle. Sales are not going to be improving anytime in the foreseeable near term. And so that is a real issue. So the departure of these engineers in this case, I think that's a sign of they understand what's coming, which is, Tesla's going to keep doing what it's doing right now with few changes, with little fresh product, and the market's going to hammer them. And maybe, I don't know the inside of what was going on, but perhaps they were getting yelled at a lot, and they didn't like that. So we'll see where the two of them end up. It almost seemed that, like, I don't know if their departures were coordinated, but it was curious that within 3 hours of, they both announced they were leaving at approximately the same time, and clearly they've worked together closely. So we'll see where if they pop up at a competitor, for example.